Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that came up on my TikTok comment section. And someone made a rude comment about because I look the way I look and because my disability is invisible, that automatically means I'm able-bodied. And I can tell you that ain't the case. People have this misconception that to be non-able-bodied or physically disabled, you have to look the part. You have to look like maybe you're in a wheelchair, you're an amputee who wears a prosthetic, you use forearm crutches, you wear braces on your feet, legs, hand, whatever. But I'm here to tell you that just because someone doesn't look physically disabled, doesn't use a mobility aid, doesn't mean they aren't dealing with physical symptoms of their disability daily. I have 3 diagnoses under my belt that do not make me an able-bodied person. And those 3 are FASD, arthrogryposis, and endometriosis. FASD happens when the birth parent drinks alcohol while pregnant, and in turn, the unborn child ends up with cognitive disability, physical disability, and mental health struggles. And FASD stands for fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Arthrogryposis is what is known as a joint contracture condition. You have to have 3 joint contractures to be diagnosed with arthrogryposis. So that greatly affects my mobility. I do not have the same flexibility as a normal able-bodied person would. I can't raise my arms above my head. I don't have the same flexibility in my wrists, in my shoulders. My muscles in the back of my legs are super tight. I can feel them when I walk. It kind of pulls and stretches. Then I have endometriosis, which is a condition in which cells similar to the lining of your uterus or endometrium grows outside of the uterus, which causes a whole issues of systematic symptoms and chronic pain. Also, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called autoimmune atrophic gastritis, which basically means that my immune system is attacking my stomach lining of my stomach, which means I don't absorb the food that I eat very well, nor do I absorb iron very well, which also can lead to B12 deficiency. So if you think that means, if you see those 4 conditions and think, yeah, that's an able-bodied person, then we have very different viewpoints on what able-bodied means. So the definition of able-bodied means someone who is healthy and has no illness, injury, or condition that makes it difficult to do things that other people do. So some of the things that FASD affects me when it comes to being disabled and not able-bodied is learning issues in school, not being able to keep up with my peers when I was younger, especially in gym class. I sucked at gym, but I loved doing gym, but yet no one liked being on my team because I sucked at everything. Being able to remember things was a big one because people with FASD suffer with short-term memory loss. Difficulty understanding abstract concepts, learning how to socialize with people properly and learning social cues, sensory processing disorder, which affects all your senses, which affects you physically, affecting my immune system and getting sick a lot, Those are some of the things that FASD affected me when I was a kid. There's so much more, but I want to make a video where I break down how FASD affects me in shorter videos for you guys at some point. But yes, FASD affected me in a lot of ways. Vision. I think I have a heart murmur because of it. We don't know if I have FASD, I have arthrogryposis because of FASD, or I just have arthrogryposis because I have arthrogryposis as well, because arthrogryposis is genetic, but it also can be environmental as well. Arthrogryposis affected me a lot in sports situations, and not being able to keep up with my peers in any sport capacity. I remember, I think I was like 6 years old, and I was in my parents put me in gymnastics, and that was the first time I realized that I was not like my neurotypical able-bodied peers. That was the first sport where I looked at myself and went, huh, I'm different from you guys, and that sucks. I didn't have the flexibility that all the kids had. Kids were doing like back walkovers and handstands and the splits and being able to touch your toes when you stretched and being able to jump super high. Cartwheels. My friends had a huge craze for cartwheels like in grade 2 or 3, and I could not figure out why I couldn't do a cartwheel like all my other friends at recess. Apparently you need to be able to raise your arms above your head. If you can't, your cartwheel is going to be wonky. Guess who can't raise their arms above their head? What else? Swimming was an issue. I've always had trouble with the backstroke because, yet again, you need to be able to do the backstroke effectively and appropriately. You need to be able to get your arms right next to your ears. Yeah, my arms aren't going even close to my ears. So on every swimming report card, it was like, needs improvement on backstroke. No one thought, hey, maybe we should modify the backstroke for me. I can do front stroke easy. Backstroke's always hard because I don't have the flexibility going backwards. I've dealt with chronic pain for as long as I can remember, especially when I sort of hit the preteen stage, especially in my feet. My feet have been an issue from since I was a preteen. I would always complain to my parents, my feet hurt at gym class, and my knees hurt, and my hip hurts, and my back hurts. And of course, for parents that, they think just growing pains, but nope. Arches of my left foot is collapsed, which causes a whole bunch of issues all the way up. And because of that, guess who got orthotics at the ripe old age of 9 or 10? You know, when you're supposed to be getting these at 50, I got them at 10. So this is technically, my orthotics are technically a mobility aid that I have been using since I was 10 years old. But you wouldn't know it because it's in my shoe. And these need to be in my shoes and my footwear at all times, or else I will be in a lot of pain without them. I just wanted to remind people that just because someone has an invisible disability does not make them automatically able-bodied. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!